Afternoon. This is Doc Allen coming to you live from beautiful Ken Dugan Field at Stephen Lee Marsh Stadium on the campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, as we get set to bring you college baseball action between the University of Evansville Purple Aces and the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Today is the first game of the Turface Classic, a round robin among 8 different area teams. And it'll be a single game between the Bisons and the Purple Aces today. The visiting Purple Aces from University of Evansville are part of the Missouri Valley Conference, and they enter today's contest with a season record of no wins and 3 losses on the 2020 season. And the Bisons from the Atlantic Sun Conference have a season record of 3 wins and no losses on the season. Last time out, the Bisons defeated the Bowling Green Falcons 5-2 on Sunday's action. And prior to today's game, we had a chance to visit with Lipscomb coach Jeff Forehand for his thoughts about today's game. But we're having some technical difficulties with Coach Forehand's interview, so we'll try to get back to that if we can later on today. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups. First, for the visitors from the University of Evansville. Leading off at second base, number 1, Craig Shepard. Batting second, the designated hitter, number 7, Indiana Stanley. Batting third, first baseman, number 18, Tanner Craig. Batting fourth, left fielder, number 32, Mark Schallenberger. Batting fifth, center fielder, number 12, Evan Kari. Batting sixth, catching, number 8, Max Malley. Starting on the mound for the Purple Aces will be the right-hander, number 21, Caleb Reinhardt. And now the starting lineup for the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Leading off, second baseman, number 8, Haddon Adams. Batting second, center fielder, number 19, Maddox Houghton. Batting third, third baseman, number 21, John Shields. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 30, Chris Bashlor. Batting fifth, doing the designated hitting, number 44, Malik Williams. Batting sixth, right fielder, number 27, Vaughn Watson. Batting seventh, left fielder, number 13, David Graves. Batting eighth, doing the catching, number 5, Jarrett O'Leary. Batting ninth, shortstop, number 2, Brian Moore. And on the mound, freshman left-hander, number 29, Logan Van Treek gets the start today. The head coach for the Bisons is Jeff Forehand in his 14th season. He's assisted by pitching coach Grayson Crawford, hitting coach Ryan Price, director of baseball operations Brian Ryman, volunteer assistant Jeffrey Crisson, and student assistant Jake Bryant. The Bisons team manager is Spencer Marsh. The head groundskeeper is Colby Rawls, and the head baseball athletic trainer from Lipscomb is Clint Woods. Umpires for today's game. Behind the plate will be Juan Garza. At first base will be Steve Hodgins. And at third base will be Randy Hunley. It's a cold and blustery day here at Ken Dugan Field. Our temperature at game time is 38 degrees with a northerly wind at 11 miles per hour, making the wind chill right about 30 degrees. We've had snow and some freezing precipitation most of the day in Nashville, but it is currently not precipitating right now. We'll take this pause to turn it over to PA announcer Evan Birch for our national anthem.
Fans, at this time, we ask that you please stand, remove your hats, and face the flag located in left center field for the playing of our national anthem.
And we get set for baseball action here at Ken Dugan Field. First game of the Turf-Ace Classic. Again, a round robin among 4 local teams: Lipscomb, Middle Tennessee, Belmont, and Austin P, and 4 visiting teams from the University of Evansville, Bradley, Missouri State, and Samford. The Bisons will face each of those opponents over the next 4 days. Bradley comes to Dugan Field tomorrow for a first pitch at 2:05 p.m. Missouri State will be here on Saturday for a 2:05 start, and Samford here on Sunday for a 1:05 p.m. start time. We're sure glad you're with us today. Freshman Logan Van Treek will get the start on the mound for the Bisons. Van Treek did appear over the weekend, made 1 appearance in relief on the weekend. And he'll be on the mound today as his first collegiate start. The freshman Logan Van Treek, a 6'4", 200-pounder out of Lincoln, Nebraska, from Lincoln Southeast High School, gets his first collegiate start today. So best wishes for that young man. Again, the Bisons opened the season with a 3-game sweep over Bowling Green. They won the opening day game 15-10, and then took a pair of 5-2 victories on Saturday and on Sunday. So a 3-0 start for the Bisons. Meanwhile, the University of Evansville Purple Aces were at Tennessee Tech over the weekend, and they dropped all 3 of those games to Tennessee Tech. 5-3 result on opening day, 7-6 on Saturday, and 11-10. So some tight ball games that the Purple Aces were in with Tennessee Tech over the weekend. To round out the roster for University of Evansville, the head coach is Wes Carroll. He's assisted by Jake Mahan, A.J. Gora, and Kierce Kimball. And again, it's the Purple Aces of the University of Evansville facing the Lipscomb Bisons. And the leadoff hitter will be the second baseman, number 1, Craig Shepard. He'll stand in to get things started against Logan Van Treek. And he swings at the first pitch, pops it into right field. Right fielder Vaughn Watson drifting in, still coming in, under it, and makes the play for the first out. 1 pitch and 1 out for Van Treek. That'll bring up the designated hitter, number 7, Indiana Stanley. Stanley, a 5'10", 190-pound sophomore out of Cummings, Georgia. He played at East Georgia State before going to the University of Evansville. The right-handed swinger will stand in against Logan Van Treek. Takes a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Defensively for the Bisons, Graves is in left, Houghton in center, Watson in right, Shields at third, Moore at shortstop, Adams at second, Bachelor at first. O'Leary doing the catching today behind the plate. And a ball stays down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a foul back to the screen. The count will move to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Indiana Stanley, the designated hitter for the University of Evansville. Stanley comes in having played in 3 games and started 1. He's 0 for 6 on the season, so he's still looking for his first base hit of 2020. He'll face a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Swings and hits this one in the air, flared out into right center field. Watson coming in, Houghton coming in, and Watson's got it for the second out of the inning. So Stanley is retired, and that'll bring up the first baseman, number 18, Tanner Craig. Craig coming off an absolutely monster weekend. He was named Collegiate Baseball's National Player of the Week. He was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week. He batted .727 with 4 home runs and 7 RBI in 3 games against Tennessee Tech. So an unbelievable start for this young man. He looks for a breaking ball for strike 1. Craig is a 6-foot-tall, 230-pound junior out of Scottsburg, Indiana. Played at Austin High School. And he'll be playing at first base today for the Purple Aces. The 0-1, another off-speed pitch, catches the outside corner, and quickly Van Treek is ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Outfield is deep and straight away. Houghton shaded a couple of steps toward left field in his center field post. The infield's back deep. And the 0-2. Swing hits this deep. It's going back over towards Houghton in center field. He comes in, takes a step, and gloves it for the third out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for the freshman left-hander Logan Van Treek. And our score at the end of a half of inning is Evansville 0 and Lipscomb coming to bat. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Lipscomb University would like to thank our valuable partners for supporting Lipscomb Athletics: Hampton Inn of Brentwood, Elite Sports Medicine, Pancoast Benefits, Coca-Cola, and the Hyatt Place Brentwood. Also, fans, a reminder that today is Lipscomb University's second annual Giving Day. After a successful completion of the Athlete Fueling Station, which was funded by last year's gifts, we're ready to raise Student Athlete Development Center to the next level during this year's campaign. Gifts of any size will help the cause, so please give today by going to lipscomb.edu/LippyGivingDay on your cell phone. That's lipscomb.edu/LIPPY Giving Day. You can give unrestricted to athletics, or you can designate your gift for baseball. Thank you for your support. We'll be back after this short break.
Fans in the defensive alignment for Evansville this afternoon. In left field, Mark Schallenberger. The center fielder, Evan Kari. In right field, Troy Bilesmith. The third baseman is Danny Borgstrom. At shortstop, Brent Witter. The second baseman, Craig Shepard. And at first base, Tanner Craig. The catcher, Max Malley. And the starting pitcher, Caleb Reinhardt.
So we get set to head to the bottom half of the first inning. Lipscomb will have up Adams, Houghton, and Shields to get things started against the right-hander Caleb Reinhardt. Reinhardt is a 6'1", 245-pound junior out of Paducah, Kentucky, from Rend Lake High School. He did make an appearance over the weekend. He pitched 3 1/3 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 that were earned, walked 1, and struck out 3 in an appearance on the weekend. And his first pitch is through there, a fastball for a strike, 0-1 to Adams. Haddon Adams comes in batting .300 on the season, 3 hits and 10 trips to the plate, and he looks at a pitch downstairs for ball 1. Adams has a double on the season already, and he's walked a couple times. 2 out of 2 on stolen base attempts for the Bison's leadoff hitter, Haddon Adams. He swings and fouls this one back to the screen. It'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Bison's leadoff hitter, Haddon Adams. Defensively, Schallenberger's in left, Kari in center, Bilesmith in right. Here comes the 1-2, just off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adams. Borgstrom is at third base, Witter at short, Shepard at second base, Craig at first, Malley doing the catching, and right-hander Caleb Reinhardt on the mound for the Purple Aces. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Adams. Swings and fouls it out of play. The count will hold at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Adams, the senior second baseman for the Bisons out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee via Columbia State College. And he's ready for the 2-2. Swings and pops this in the air toward the right side. Craig is drifting over. He's going to be called off by Shepard, the second baseman, and he catches it just behind the bag at first for the first out of the inning. So Adams pops out to Craig, and that'll bring up Maddox Houghton, the center fielder. Houghton also off to a great start on the season, batting .400. He had 4 trips in 10 at-bats. He's got 4 RBIs, including and 1 double on the season already, and he's 2 for 2 on stolen bases. So a lot of base running activity at the top of the Bison's orders so far on the young season. Houghton takes a pitch off the plate, 87-mile-an-hour fastball for ball 1. So Houghton had a monster opening day, 4 hits and 5 trips at the plate on Friday's activity, and had a very solid weekend overall. He looks at a breaking ball that stays down low, 2 balls and no strikes on Maddox Houghton. To give you the infield defensive alignment, Borgstrom at third, Witter at short, Shepard at second, and Craig is at first base. That's a fastball off the plate, and it'll take the count to 3 balls and no strikes. John Shields waits on deck. Max Malley is doing the catching, and Caleb Reinhardt, right-hander, on the mound today for Coach Wes Carroll and the Purple Aces of Evansville. And that fastball catches the outside corner, 3 balls and 1 strike. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering about color combinations, the Bisons are in their black uniforms today. They have black caps, black jerseys, white pants with the black piping. And he swings through a 86-mile-an-hour pitch for strike 2, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Evansville's in the visiting gray, but with purple trim, and a gray hat with a purple bill. So both of these clubs share purple, and it might get a little confusing today. That one's fouled out of play to the right side. The count will hold at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So first time we've seen the Bisons in the new black uniforms. going with the new Under Armour uniform combinations this year. And we've got a full count on the Bison's second hitter, Maddox Houghton. He swings and fouls this one out of play to the right side. So Houghton is seeing a lot of pitches in this at-bat. That was a fastball again at 86 miles an hour. Shields waits on deck for the Bisons. With that northerly wind, the wind is blowing out towards right center field. It's blowing sort of from the left field foul line toward right center field. As we mentioned, 10 to 11 miles an hour. So the balls are going to tend to carry to the right side today. Again, it's a cold and very humid, heavy day in Nashville. And that fastball stays high, and Houghton has drawn a walk with one out. That'll bring John Shields to the plate. Shields playing third base today. And the junior is batting .333 on the season. He's got 3 hits and 9 trips and 3 RBIs. He's also 1 for 1 in the stolen base department. Left-handed swinging Shields, and we'll see how Coach Forehand wants to play this with a runner at first base and 1 out. We're in the bottom half of the first inning and no score in the game between Evansville and Lipscomb. They're going to chase Houghton back. Third baseman Borgstrom is even with the bag at third, off the line a bit. Outfield is moderate depth. Double play depth up the middle for the infield. He swings and fouls this one out of play to the left side. That was like a slider or something he took a little bit off of. And the count will be 0-1 on John Shields. Shields played a couple of games at third base over the weekend, played right field on Sunday's game, and he's back in the third base spot today for the Bisons. Again, the throw goes back. It bounces against Houghton and will roll into foul ground. Craig will retrieve it. We'll get a reset. No balls and 1 strike to count to John Shields. Chris Bachelor waits on deck. And that one stays high for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to John Shields. Shields is a 6-foot-tall, 189-pound junior out of Tampa, Florida. He's a transfer from the State College of Florida. And a young man that Coach Jeff Forehand has told us is very versatile. Can play infield, can play outfield, handles the bat well. He fouls this one back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He also has some speed. So we'll see if we get to see some of that speed on the base paths again with Maddox Houghton. Houghton last season in the 2019 campaign stole 20 bases out of 25 attempts, already has 2 on this season. Clearly that's in the scouting report for Evansville as they throw over again to try to shorten that lead for Houghton. Reinhardt with a good move to first base, and the junior right-hander gets set to pitch a 1 ball, 2 strike count. First he's going to make another throw to first. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out to John Shields. He's running. Off-speed pitch stays high. Here comes the throw, and he is in there under the tag. So Houghton with his 3rd stolen base on the young campaign. Picked a good pitch to run on as an off-speed pitch. It stayed high for ball 2. That was an excellent throw from catcher Malley, but Houghton with good speed and a good jump just got in there under the tag, and he's now in scoring position with 1 out and a 2-2 count on John Shields. And he swings through the off-speed pitch for the strikeout. So Reinhardt gets Shields swinging, and that'll bring Chris Bachelor to the plate with 2 outs. Bachelor playing first base today for the Bisons. He has 2 hits and 12 trips to the plate thus far on the young season, 2 RBIs. Chris split his time over the weekend between playing first base and doing the designated hitting, so he's back at first base today. Hitting in the 4 hole. Houghton is your runner at second. And Reinhardt will deliver to Bachelor. Off-speed pitch stays low, no balls and 1 strike. Bachelor did have an RBI in the game on Sunday as the Bisons defeated Bowling Green 5-2. The 1-0. Another breaking ball that's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Reinhardt's breaking ball has been 68 to 70 miles an hour. His fastball anywhere from 85 to 88 that we've seen so far. Again, a cold, blustery day with a really heavy air. A lot of moisture in the air. As we mentioned, we had snow flurries most of the morning in Nashville. A lot of rain. There's still a lot of moisture, and I suspect we're going to see some puddles in the outfield. We certainly got some puddles around the margins. That's a Fastball that stays low, and the count will go to 2 balls and 1 strike on Chris Bachelor. We had some technical difficulties with our interview with Coach Jeff Forehand, but we asked Coach Forehand about the weather, and he said he thought it was just too cold to play on Tuesday with a scheduled game with Tennessee Tech that was canceled, but they wanted to get this one in today with the first game of this Turfist Classic, and they expect it to be cold conditions for both teams, obviously. Bachelor swings, hits this one in the air. Wildsmith is drifting back in right field. He keeps going back. He's camped down under it, and he'll record it for the 3rd out of the inning. So Bachelor flies out, and the Bisons strand 1 runner after Houghton draws the walk and gets on base. So we've played 1 full inning, and your score is Lipscomb 0 and Evansville 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The Bisons are proud to partner with Wayne Stevens and First Bank as the official mortgage lender of Lipscomb Athletics. Wayne has been a friend of Lipscomb for over 40 years and a mortgage lender for 23 years. Based out of First Bank's Franklin branch, Wayne is the person to visit, whether you're considering building or buying a house or looking to refinance. Call Wayne Stevens and First Bank at 615-814-3912 or visit them on the web at fbmortgageloans.com. We'll be back after this short break. We head to the top half of the 2nd inning. No score between Evansville and Lipscomb. Mark Schallenberger will get things started here for the Purple Aces against the left-hander Logan Van Schreek. And he takes a fastball through there for strike 1. Schallenberger is a 6'2", 219-pound freshman out of St. Louis, Missouri, from St. Louis Priory High School. And the lineup in left field today for the Aces. Breaking ball also in there for a strike, and quickly Van Schreek is ahead. No balls and 2 strikes to Schallenberger. Comes the 0-2. Another breaking ball. That one skips away from O'Leary and stayed down low. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the Purple Aces out of the Missouri Valley Conference. We mentioned that last season they had an overall record of 24 wins, 29 losses. They were 11-11 in conference play. Here comes the 1-2. Swings, hits this one on the ground. Shields picks it up at 3rd. He'll throw into 1st and pulls Bachelor off the bag, but Bachelor is able to tag Schallenberger as he goes by. So Schallenberger's retired on the ground out from Shields to Bachelor. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Evan Kari. Kari is a 6'3", 175-pound redshirt sophomore out of Evansville. Played at Olney Central. And on the season, he has 3 hits and 13 at-bats thus far. Takes a fastball over the inside corner, 0-1. So Van Schreek's done an excellent job getting ahead of these hitters, throwing strikes early in the count. You know, the coach Jeff Forehand will be happy to see that performance from his freshman left-hander, Logan Van Schreek, making his very first college start today for the Lipscomb Bisons. The 0-1 stays inside and low, evens the count at a ball and a strike. We're in the top half of the 2nd inning. We have no score between Evansville and Lipscomb. Baseball activity coming to you from Ken Dugan Field on the campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee. And Kari looks at a pitch down low. That'll be 2 balls and 1 strike to Evan Kari. So over the weekend, as we mentioned, there was quite a power display by Evansville. They played Tennessee Tech, and the teams combined to hit 15 home runs. So the Aces hit 6, and the Golden Eagles hit 9. There's a strike in there, and now we have a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So a lot of offense in Cookeville over the weekend as Tennessee Tech took 3 close ball games from this Evansville Purple Aces team. The Aces did have 14 singles, 3 doubles, 2 triples, and 6 home runs in 3 games. So a team that can swing the bat a bit. And he swings and hits this one down the right field line. It's going to drift foul. Watson gives it a look and watches it hit on the warning track. That'll keep the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Evan Kari. Troy Bilesmith is on deck. So a lot of offense over the weekend, as we mentioned, for this Purple Aces team. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball stays high, and that'll run the count full 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is the 18th meeting between Evansville and Lipscomb. The Purple Aces have the all-time advantage, 12 wins and 5 losses. The last time they met was March 26th of 2017. And Evansville captured a 10-5 win. And he swings through a fastball and is down on strikes. So Van Treek gets his first strikeout of the day. And that'll bring the right fielder Troy Bilesmith to the plate with 2 outs and the bases empty. Bilesmith, a 6-foot, 170-pound redshirt senior out of Weldon Springs, Missouri. He's got 2 hits and 13 trips so far on the young season, and that one stayed just a bit high for ball 1. Does have 1 RBI and does have one of those home runs that was hit over the weekend. So Bilesmith with some power. Swings, hits this one on the ground to Adams. Adams drifts to his left, fields it on the hop, throws on to first base, and another 1-2-3 inning for the freshman left-hander, Logan Van Treek. So nothing doing in the top half of the second inning for Evansville. We've played an inning and a half, and we still have no score between Evansville and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Lipscomb Athletics would like to thank 1989 graduate Scott Hall in the Nashville Insurance Group for their ongoing support. Nashville Insurance Group is your one-stop Tennessee insurance center. Save up to 35% on your Tennessee home and auto insurance. Call Scott Hall and Nashville Insurance Group today or visit them on the web at nashvilleInsuranceGroup.com. We'll be back after this short break. We're back for action in the bottom half of the second inning, and due up for the Bisons will be Williams, Watson, and David Graves. They'll be facing the right-hander, Caleb Reinhardt, and he swings at the first pitch, does Malik Williams, and pops it into foul territory. Once again, Shepard calling off, and he's going to field it just a step outside the foul line on the first base side. So Malik Williams is retired on 1 pitch for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Vaughn Watson. Watson batting .500 on the season, had 2 hits in 4 trips to the plate on opening day. Sat out on Saturday and Sunday's game with an injury. He's back in the lineup today in right field. Watson, the 6'2", 210-pound redshirt senior out of Potts Camp, Mississippi. And he takes a fastball down low for ball 1. Through a fastball for a strike. So Watson, the 5th-year redshirt senior, had a long and distinguished career here as a Bison, a young man that was drafted out of high school and is now playing his final season at Ken Dugan Field. He swings and fouls a breaking ball back for a 1-ball and 2-strike count. Coach Jeff Forehand earlier telling us he's expecting a big year out of Watson, that he's a great defender, has an outstanding arm, someone he believes has improved offensively, and so he's looking for a big campaign out of this redshirt senior. One of 5 seniors on the Bison's roster this year, and he faces a 1-2 pitch. Takes a fastball outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Caleb Reinhardt. Again, we're in the bottom half of the second inning. We have no score between Lipscomb and Evansville. Swings and hits this one foul. It's going to come straight back and get out of play. Catcher Malley gives it chase and watches it hit on top of our press box here. So if you are in the neighborhood coming out, we do have bingo today at the ballpark. That's right, there's bingo for all the fans in attendance, and So come on by the ballpark and catch some great college baseball and have a chance at bingo as well. A reminder that tomorrow and every Friday throughout the season is Dollar Dog Night. That's $1 hot dogs at the concession stand here at Dugan Field. Watson swings and taps this toward Borgstrom. He feels it on the run, throws over to first base, and a scoop by Craig, who will retire Vaughn Watson. So a nice play on both ends of that as Borgstrom fielded it going to his right, through, and Craig was able to pick it up on the short hop and retire Watson for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring the left fielder David Graves to the plate. Graves played some in right field, some in left field over the opening weekend, and he's in left field today. And we've got a call of a no pitch by home plate umpire Juan Garza. So we'll get set again. Graves has 1 hit and 5 trips to the plate on the young season. He is a senior out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. And he looks at a pitch that catches the outside corner, 87-mile-an-hour fastball for strike one to David Graves. Here's the 0-1. A little bit further off the plate with that one. The ball and the count will even at a ball and a strike. So Graves, a senior, as we mentioned, he played in 42 games last year, had 33 starts, had a lot of different positions between the infield and the outfield. So a versatile young man that can play in a lot of positions. He swings through it's like a pitch that had a little something taken off of it, and he's down in the count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the right-hander Caleb Reinhardt, batting with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom half of the second inning. And he swings through another one for strike 3. So Reinhardt gets his second strikeout on the day. Nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom half of the second inning as they go down in order. We've played 2 full innings from Dugan Field, and your score, Lipscomb 0 and Evansville 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. Fans staying invested doesn't have to mean standing still, especially when the environment is not. Call Jeremy at the George Wealth Group for a stress test of your portfolio or a checkup on your overall financial plan. For more details, go to thegeorgewealthgroup.com or call Jeremy George at 615-599-2702. We'll be back after this short break. Top half of inning number 3, and we've got the 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for Evansville. Logan Van Treek, the freshman left-hander, has been perfect through 2 innings. He's got 1 strikeout and has not allowed a hit. And so he'll face Danny Borgstrom, the third baseman. And he misses just high with that one. A ball and no strikes. Borgstrom, a 5'10", 180-pound sophomore out of Morris, Illinois, playing at third base today. And he swings, fouls this one back out of play, and that'll be a ball and a strike. Borgstrom on this season has played in all 3 games, started all 3. He's got 3 hits and 13 trips to the plate. He does have 1 home run and 3 RBIs on the young season for Danny Borgstrom. And it's a 1-1 pitch. Swings and hits this one in the air toward left field. Graves is giving chase, but it's going to fall into foul territory, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So we mentioned that 4 teams all in action in this Turf-Face Classic. The other games have yet to start today. Missouri State is at Austin Peay at a 4 p.m. scheduled start. Bradley at Middle Tennessee, scheduled to start at 5 p.m. And Samford at Belmont, also a 4:30 p.m. start. The Southern Athletic Fields Classic, or Nashville, Tennessee, baseball action this weekend. That breaking ball stays outside and low, and the count will be 2 balls and 2 strikes on Danny Borgstrom. Lipscomb actually the only team in the Atlantic Sun Conference that's in action today. All the other clubs will be back in action tomorrow, but no other A-Sun teams playing today except for the Bisons. Here's the 2-2. It's swung on and fouled back, out of play. It'll be a 2-ball and 2-strike count, again, on Borgstrom. Midweek action for the other clubs. Stetson picked up a 6-5 win at UCF. Kennesaw State lost 10-3 to number 3 ranked Georgia, and North Florida lost 5-1 to VMI. Breaking ball stays outside. That'll run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Borgstrom. NJIT captured a 8-5 win over Bucknell, and Liberty beat Radford 4-2 in other midweek action in the A-Sun Conference. Here comes the payoff pitch. He swings and grounds this one into right field. It's going to get past the diving Adams, and Borgstrom has the first base hit on the day for the Purple Aces as he reaches with nobody out in the top half of the third inning. No score between Evansville and Lipscomb. That'll bring up the shortstop, number 3, Brent Witter. Witter, another freshman that's in the lineup. He's 6 foot tall, 170 pounds, out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And on the young season, he's started all 3 games. He's got 4 hits and 10 trips with 1 RBI. And so a solid start to a college baseball campaign for this freshman, Brent Witter. He'll bat against Logan Van Treek. Borgstrom, your runner at first base. Nobody out, top half of the third inning. And breaking ball stays down low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Witter. The other A-Sun activity over the midweek, North Alabama lost to Ohio 6-4. Jacksonville lost a 4-3 game to number 2 ranked Florida. And Florida Gulf Coast lost 6-4 at Florida Atlantic. So that's your midweek A-Sun baseball action. Again, no activity today except for the Bisons. Van Treek misses inside with a fastball, and it's 2 balls, no strikes to Witter. Malley, the catcher, waits on deck. And throw over to first base. Borgstrom is back easily. 2 balls and no strikes to count to Brent Witter, shortstop for the Evansville Purple Aces. And Logan Van Treek comes set again. Like he took something off that one, and it catches the plate for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Brent Witter. Purple Aces are on a Tennessee stretch of their schedule here. They'll be at MTSU tomorrow, at Belmont on Saturday, and then they play at Vanderbilt on Tuesday of next week. And that's another one right through there for strike 2. So Van Treek has fought back now to even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes on Witter. After the swing through Tennessee, the Purple Aces will be back home to host Butler next weekend. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Long hold by Van Treek, and Borgstrom is running and swung on and hit in the air to left field. Graves is going back. He's under it. Calls for it, and he's got it for the first out of the inning. So Borgstrom will have to go back to first base, and Witter is retired on a fly ball to David Graves in left field for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the catcher, number 8, Max Malley. Malley, another freshman that's in the lineup for Coach Wes Carroll. He's a 5'9", 145-pound youngster out of Frankfort, Illinois. Started 1 game over the weekend and had no hits and 2 trips to the plate. So still looking for his first collegiate hit. And Van Treek's going to throw back to first and chase Borgstrom back again. Borgstrom was running on that last pitch. Witter hit it in the air to left field and chased him back. So we'll see how they elect to play it here with Malley swinging the bat. Witter does not have any stolen bases on the season, and he looks at a strike. No balls and 1 strike on Max Malley. Back to the top of the order, and Craig Shepard on deck. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, and we got time called, and it looks like that Borgstrom was indeed running. He took off as Van Treek was delivering to the plate, so we'll see if that changes the play calls on either side here. Again, infield still seems a bit damp. We have had a lot of rain in the Nashville area the last couple of days, and again, snow flurries through much of the morning today, so infield is a little more damp than usual. He's not running, and fastball just off the plate for a ball and a strike to Max Malley. Coach Wes Carroll, the head coach of the Purple Aces, in his 13th season as the head coach. And he's running, and they've got him picked off. Throw behind to Bachelor. He's going to throw to Moore. He's going to put the tag on him at second base, and they got him picked off. So Borgstrom was going on the first move there, and he's caught stealing for the second out of the inning, and that'll empty the bases. Keep the count at a ball and 2 strikes on Max Malley. So Borgstrom led off with a single. He's cut down by being picked off, trying to steal. Swing through a fastball there, and the count will be 1 ball and 2 strikes on Max Malley. So it looked like Borgstrom was going on first move. Van Treek lifted and paused, and then threw behind him to Bachelor, who threw to shortstop Brian Moore, covering the bag, putting the tag on Borgstrom for the second out of the inning. Here's the 1-2. He hits it on the ground toward Haddon Adams. He's up with it and will throw on to first base for the third out in the inning. So the Purple Aces do pick up the first hit of the game, but they get erased on the base paths and do not score. And we're in the middle of the third inning, and we still have no score between Evansville and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Lipscomb University would like to thank John Roberts Automotive Group for their support of Bison Athletics. Both are Lipscomb graduates, John Roberts Sr. and John Roberts Jr., and they've been serving the Middle Tennessee community since 1983. Just a short drive down to Manchester, Tennessee, or a click away at johnrobertsautogroup.com will save you plenty on one of your family's most important purchases. Please visit either John Roberts Toyota or John Roberts Nissan for all of your new, pre-owned, or automotive service needs. Also, fans, a reminder that today is Lipscomb University's second annual Giving Day. After the successful completion of our athlete fueling station funded by last year's gifts, we're ready to raise our Student Athlete Development Center to the next level during this year's campaign. Gifts of any size will help the cause, so please give today by going to lipscomb.edu/LippyGivingDay on your cell phones. That's lipscomb.edu/LIPPY Giving Day. You can give an unrestricted gift to athletics, or you can designate your gift to baseball. And Lipscomb thanks you for your support. We'll be back after this short break. We head to the bottom half of the third inning. We've got no score between Lipscomb and Evansville, and due up for the Bisons, the 8-9-1 hitters O'Leary, Moore, and Adams. Jared O'Leary will get things started. The senior catcher in there today. On the season so far, Jarrett's 0 for 4, so still looking for his first hit of 2020, and he'll stand in against right-hander Caleb Reinhardt for the Evansville Purple Aces. O'Leary, the 6'1", 223-pound senior out of Port Lucie, Florida, via Florida State College. And he looks at a fastball over the inside corner for strike 1. Jarrett split the catching duties over the weekend. He caught on Saturday's game. And he's back in there today facing an 0-1 pitch. Breaking pitch stays down low for a ball and a strike. We mentioned Coach Wes Carroll. He's in his 13th season, and he is almost a lifer. He grew up very close to the Evansville campus. He fouls at a breaking pitch at the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He was a member, actually a 4-year starter also of the Purple Aces team, and a member of their 2000 NCAA tournament team. And Coach Carroll was a freshman All-American in 1998. He hit .355 with 18 doubles, 2 home runs, and 39 RBI. He's still the school's all-time career record for doubles and second most base hits in school history. And voted in 2007 to the Missouri Valley Conference All-Centennial team as one of the top players in league history. That's a foul out of play, and the count will be a ball and 2 strikes on Jared O'Leary. So Coach Wes Carroll, about as deep into Purple Aces history as you can be as a storied player, and now the 13th year skipper for the Purple Aces of the University of Evansville. Here comes a ball and 2 strike pitch. He swings and again fouls it on a play. Another fastball that he fought off. So O'Leary will have a ball and 2 strike count against Caleb Reinhardt. Again, O'Leary, one of 5 Bison seniors, and appeared in 15 games, got 7 starts behind the plate last year. Here's the 1-2, way outside, and it'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Leary did bat .280 and had 7 RBIs last year, and had a .360 slugging percentage in his junior campaign. And Coach Jeff Forehand tells us that he's a leader on this team and someone he's expecting to make significant contributions this year. He swings through like maybe a slider, and he's retired on strikes. That'll be the 3rd strikeout for Caleb Reinhardt, and that'll bring to the plate the Bison shortstop, Brian Moore. Brian is the reigning Atlantic Sun Conference Player of the Week. He had a monster start to his season. He's batting .417. He's got a home run and 6 RBIs. Also made a couple of sparkling plays in the field at shortstop. So an outstanding start to the senior campaign for Brian Moore. He swings and hits the first pitch in right field. Bilesmith's going back, and he catches it on the run for the second out of the inning. So Moore quickly retired for the second out. And we'll go back to the top of the order and Haddon Adams. Adams, the Bison's second baseman, popped out to second baseman Craig Shepard in the first inning. He'll bat now with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the third. No score between Lipscomb and Evansville. He shows a bunt, pulls back, and takes a strike. 0-1. Some of the other Bison, or no other rather, Bison's teams are in action today. Looks at a fastball outside, a ball and a strike. Correction, that the men's basketball team is playing tonight at Jacksonville. And softball has a pair of games tomorrow in Austin, Texas. They'll be facing Duke and Texas. That one hit him. So Adams is hit by the pitch. And he'll be aboard at first base with 2 outs. And Maddox Houghton will come back to the plate. So Adams hit by the pitch for the second time this season. And Houghton will stand in there. Houghton drew a base on balls in the first inning, stole a base and was stranded. Bats now with 2 outs and a man on first base. No score, bottom half of the third inning. Looks at a pitch down low and away for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Maddox Houghton. As we mentioned, softball with 2 games tomorrow and another game against Weber State in Austin on Saturday. So the softball team from Lipscomb in the state of Texas all weekend playing. Again, a reminder, the Bisons have games tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. 2:05 starts on Friday and Saturday, and 1:05 start on Sunday for college baseball action here. 1 ball, no strike pitch is not going to be made because they're going to go back to first against Adams. Again, Adams 2 stolen bases on the season. And last year he stole 13 bases in 14 attempts, so sure that Evansville knows he's a threat to run. He takes another breaking ball down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to Maddox Houghton. And there's a strike through there. 2 balls and a strike. Shields waits on deck. Adams, your runner at first. He's got a moderate lead. Adams likes to extend that lead, though, after the hole starts. He'll take a small lead, and then somewhere in the middle of the pitcher's hold, he'll gain another step or half step. That one's off the plate, and it's going to be 3 balls and 1 strikes on Maddox Houghton. So Houghton worked a walk in the first inning, and he's now run the count to 3 balls and a strike here in the second inning on Caleb Reinhardt. Throw's going to go back to first base. Here comes the 3-1 pitch, and it stays high, ball 4. So Houghton has drawn his second walk on the day, and that'll chase Adams down to second base, and that's going to bring up John Shields, the third baseman. He was a strikeout victim in the first inning. He'll bat now with 2 outs and 2 men on base. Again, Shields came into the day batting .333, with 3 hits and 9 trips on the season, 3 RBIs. And the left-hand swinging Shields will stand in against Reinhardt. Houghton dancing around at second base, and this one is tapped right back to Reinhardt. He's going to flip it over to first base for the third out in the inning. So the Bisons are going to strand 2 men and don't score. We've played 3 complete innings, and your score, Evansville 0 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The Elite Kids Zone, located inside the South Concourse of the Allen Arena, and throughout the year there'll be inflatables, balloon animals, and other fun activities for the kiddos. Please check out the Kids Zone in the South Concourse for a great time while you're attending Bison basketball games. We'll be right back after this short break. We head to the top half of the fourth inning. No score between Lipscomb and Evansville. We're back to the top of the order for the Purple Aces. Craig Shepard, Stanley, and Craig will follow this inning. Logan Van Treek, the freshman left-hander, has been perfect through 3 innings. He's allowed 1 hit, has 1 strikeout, and hasn't walked anybody. And he starts with a fastball just off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes to Shepard. So looks like Van Treek has some really good run on that fastball. It goes to the arm side and moving away from these right-handed hitters. That one was just off the plate for ball 1. This one stays low. 2 balls and no strikes on Shepard. Shepard popped out to the right fielder Vaughn Watson in the first inning. So he's 0 for 1 in the day. Came in batting 154 on the season. Swung on and hit in the air to right field. Watson going back towards right center. Still going back. Catches it on the run as he's on the warning track. So nice play there by Vaughn Watson. Shepard hit that ball hard, but he does get retired for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Indiana Stanley. Stanley also flew out to Watson in right field in the first inning. So he is 0 for 1 on the day and now 0 for 7 on the young season. And he takes a ball high. 1 ball and no strikes. And he swings through an off-speed pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Good movement again on that pitch, going down and away from the right-handed hitting Stanley. Ball and a strike now, 1 out, bases empty. That one stays low, 2 balls and a strike on Stanley. Stanley, again, a sophomore out of Cummings, Georgia, transfer from East Georgia State, so his first season here with Evansville. And he swings and hits this one foul and out of play. And the count will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, no other area action or scores to report to you. The Bisons are first activity of the day in the area, as we mentioned, inside this Turface Classic. That one stays inside. It's going to run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Indiana Stanley, the designated hitter. He swings, hits this one deep in the air to left field. Graves going back, still going back, at the wall, and he grabs it on the warning track. So Stanley gave that a ride, but David Graves kept drifting back and camped out under. As we mentioned, it's a heavy, wet day, and the wind is actually blowing away from left field towards right center field. It might have held that ball up a bit, but Graves had it read well, and he retires Stanley for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up first baseman Tanner Craig. Craig flew out to deep center field in the first inning, and he bats out now with 2 outs and the base is empty. And he takes a fastball for a strike, 0-1. We mentioned Craig, the reigning National Player of the Week, according to Collegiate Baseball, and the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week. Hit .727, 4 home runs, and 7 RBIs in 3 games over the weekend. So an incredible start for Tanner Craig. That one's just off the plate, a ball and a strike. Craig is a junior out of Scottsburg, Indiana, playing at first base today. That one, breaking ball that bounces in the dirt. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. He was the leading hitter for Evansville last year. He played in 21 games, started them all, batted .333, had 1 home run, 11 RBI. So in 1 weekend, he already exceeded his home run total from last year. But a young man that can handle the bat. And that breaking pitch catches the inside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 count on Craig, 2 outs, bases empty. Top half of the 4th inning. No score between Evansville and Lipscomb on a cold and blustery day from Ken Dugan Field. Here comes the 2-2. Swings, hits this one deep in the air to center field. Houghton drifting back, still going back, looks up, gone! A home run. So Tanner Craig continues his very hot start to this season with his 4th home run now, or correction, his 5th home run of the young season. 5 home runs in 4 games for that young man who is off to an extremely hot start is Tanner Craig, and he puts the Purple Aces on board 1-0 here. Top half of the second inning. That'll bring up Mark Schallenberger, the left fielder. Will bat now with 2 outs and the bases empty. Swings, hits this one in the air, flares it into center field. Houghton charging hard, coming hard, coming hard. So is Graves. It's going to bounce and hit in front of him. It's down for a base hit. He's going to make a wide turn at first base, but Schallenberger's going to hold there with the base hit. So Schallenberger is now on board with a little flare single that went over shortstop and just fell out there in that Bermuda Triangle between left center and shortstop. So he's now 1 for 2 on the day, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Evan Kari. Kari was a strikeout victim back in the second inning. About now with 2 outs and a man on first base. He swings, hits this one in the air, flared to second base. Adams is drifting back into shallow right field. He's camped under it, and he has it for the out. But the Purple Aces do get on board. They have a run on the home run by Tanner Craig and have 2 hits total in the inning. And in the middle of the fourth inning, your score, Evansville 1, Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Lipscomb Athletics thanks 1988 graduate Dan Stephen and Stephen & Associates for their partnership and support. Stephen & Associates will help you with personal and business financial decisions, retirement planning, asset management, life insurance, college funding strategies, estate planning, and more. Increase your planned retirement income by up to 40%. Make the wise decision and call Stephen & Associates today. Visit them on the web at sandawealth.com. That's sandawealth.com. We'll be back after this short break. We move to the home half of the fourth inning, and your score is Evansville 1, Lipscomb 0, and due up for the Bisons, the 3-4-5 hitters, Shields, Bachelor, and Malik Williams. Shields was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. Or correction, Bachelor is batting now. It's Bachelor, Williams, and Watson, and Bachelor flew out to center field back in the first inning. He hits his one deep in the air to center field. Kari's going back, still going back at the wall, looks up, and makes the grab. Very nice running grab there by Kari in center field as Bachelor hit that one well, and it hung up there, and the young man retreated and gloved it just in front of the 400-foot sign and straight away center field. So there's 1 out, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Malik Williams. Williams popped out to the second baseman Shepard over in foul ground in the second inning, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. And he takes a fastball through there for strike 1. So far on the day, Reinhardt 3 1/3 innings, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Hasn't allowed a hit yet. And that's ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitched very effectively as Caleb Reinhardt, the right-hander for Evansville. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 1 out. And he swings through an off-speed pitch. A ball and 2 strikes on Malik Williams. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Game moving right along, and your score is Evansville 1 and Lipscomb 0. That one stays high, and they're leaving the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Williams had 2 home runs on the weekend in the season opening series. One of them a long drive way over the trees in left field, and the other one a very solid shot as well. So a strong young man who can handle the bat. 2-2 pitch. Outside and low, and the count is now full on Malik Williams. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, and the base is empty in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Tanner Craig with a long home run to straightaway center field in the top of the fourth to put Evansville up 1-0. Swings and fouls this one back. The count will remain full. That looked like an elevated fastball that he got around on and just missed it and fouled it straight back to the screen. So it'll be 3 balls and 2 strikes on Malik Williams. And fouls it straight back again. So we'll do it all again. Williams now 4 for 15 on the season with 4 RBIs and those 2 home runs that we mentioned. Outfield is very deep and left, straight away in normal depth in center and right. Here comes the payoff. Swing! Line shot foul out over the Bison's bullpen. And he had timed that one up very well and pulled it foul. Infield is deep up the middle and at first base, and also Borgstrom is back at third base, so they're respecting the power of Malik Williams. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swings and fouls it back again, and Williams having an excellent at bat against Caleb Reinhardt as he fights through all these pitches to stay alive. 1 out, bases empty, bottom half of the 4th inning. Evansville 1, Lipscomb 0. And he fouls it back yet again, so Malik Williams with a quality at bat going on. He's been fighting through the offerings of Caleb Reinhardt. He's going to continue to stand in there with a full count. Vaughn Watson's on deck. Lights are on here at Ken Dugan Field. Overcast day and 38 degrees at game time. Checks his swing, and they're going to say he did go. So Williams extends that at bat and becomes a strikeout victim for the 2nd out of the inning. 3rd strikeout on the day for Reinhardt, and that'll bring up the right fielder Vaughn Watson. Watson grounded out to the 3rd baseman Borgstrom in the 2nd inning, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. Vaughn now 2 for 5 on the season, and he swings through a fastball, 0-1. So both of these pitchers, Reinhardt for Evansville and Van Treek for Lipscomb, have done a good job getting ahead early in the count, throwing strikes. And, swing there, checked his swing and fouled it off, and he's quickly down in the hole, 0-2. Got Reinhardt now at 61 pitches here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And Watson swings and fouls it out of play, protecting the plate on the 2-strike count. So we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Graves waits on deck for the Bisons. Swings and hits this breaking ball in the air to left field. Schallenberger's coming in a couple steps, still coming in, camps out under it, and has it for the 3rd out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning worked by Reinhardt, nothing doing for the Bisons in the home half of the 4th. We've played 4 complete innings, and your score, Evansville 1, Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. Bill Prady with SmartSource has had the privilege of serving the Lipscomb community for 35 years. SmartSource provides the most innovative approach to printing, promotional, apparel, and paper products, supported with the technology-based services such as direct mail, fulfillment, and development of marketing resource centers. Please call Bill Prady at 615-516-0434 for a consultation today. We'll be back after this short break. We are headed to the top half of the 5th inning, and the freshman left-hander Logan Van Treek is out there. Van Treek's pitched very effectively so far. He's gone 4 innings, given up 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. Hasn't walked anybody and has 1 strikeout. And he's going to be facing the 4, 5, and 6 hitters here for the Purple Aces, Schallenberger, Kari, and Bilesmith. Schallenberger grounded out in the 2nd inning and had a single in the 4th inning, so he's 1 for 2 on the day. And he lays down a bunt. It's going to be fielded by Van Treek. He's going to slip to the ground, and that's going to be an infield hit for Schallenberger. So Van Treek reached it, but just couldn't check his footing. Again, very wet conditions out on the field today. And I'm sure that as he put on the brakes, it was hard to come to a stop. So Schallenberger's aboard, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Kari, who was a strikeout victim. And he'll take there for a strike. Correction, this is Borgstrom hitting. Biles Smith that dropped the bunt down. And he takes low to even the count at a ball and a strike. So Borgstrom with a ball and a strike count here. Logan Van Schreek working on the mound. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Nobody out. Biles Smith, your runner at first base, and Borgstrom the batter. And the move's going to be over to first base, and he's going to be back easily. So that was an excellent bunt that was put down there by Biles Smith, and he's on at first base with nobody out. A 1 ball, 1 strike count to Danny Borgstrom. Again, the move to first, and they chase him back again. Infield's a double play depth. Third baseman Shields is playing a step or two behind the bag at third. Outfield's straight away in moderate depth. Houghton may have just a step shaded towards left field. Here comes the 1-1. Pretty healthy lead for Biles Smith. He's running off-speed pitch, and they're not going to have a shot at him. He really had a great jump there. Pitch was a strike, so we got a ball and 2 strike count, but Biles Smith will steal a base and move into scoring position for Borgstrom. Brent Witter, the shortstop, is going to be on deck. A 1 ball, 2 strike count, nobody out. Runner in scoring position. He swings and fouls this one out of play to the left side. The count's going to remain a ball and 2 strikes. So Borgstrom had a base hit back in the 3rd inning and then was caught stealing on the base pass. So he's 1 for 1 on the day and 4 for 14 on the young season. An excellent start for the sophomore infielder Danny Borgstrom. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And Van Schreek steps off. Top half of the 5th inning, and Evansville is leading Lipscomb 1-0. And we've got a 1-2 pitch due to Borgstrom. Off-speed pitch just missed. Must have stayed high. That's going to run the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Borgstrom. That was Biles Smith's second stolen base on the season. He's 2 for 3 in stolen base attempts on the season. The 2-2. Watches the breaking ball just off the plate, and that's going to make the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Logan Van Schreek has gone all the way. The freshman left-hander has given up 4 hits and 1 run. Hasn't walked anybody and has 1 strikeout. And he has a full count pitch coming to Danny Borgstrom. And it stays high, and he walks in ball 4. So 2 men on now. Nobody out, and that'll bring up the shortstop Brent Witter, who flew out to left field back in the 3rd inning. 0 for 1 on the day, and now 4 for... Correction, he is 0 for 1 on the day. And he'll be 4 for 11 on the young season. And Jared O'Leary is going to go out and talk to his freshman left-hander, Logan Van Schreek. Make sure they're on the same page with regard to the series of signs that they're giving. No activity in the Lipscomb bullpen at this point. The Evansville bullpen is also quiet. Here comes pitching coach Grayson Crawford. He's going to trot out to the mound for a visit. While he does that, we'll tell you fans about other upcoming promotions. We mentioned that today is bingo day at the park and that tomorrow is Dollar Dog Night. And all season long, Fridays will be $1 hot dogs at the Ken Dugan concession stand. Also, Sunday is Sunday Fun Days, where all kids 12 and under get to run the bases post-game, and the Bison's players will be available for autographs after the game. So be sure to bring your family out for Sunday Fun Days throughout the season. 2 other big promotions that are upcoming. Next weekend, February 28th, there'll be a fleece blanket giveaway when the Bisons host Ohio State for a 3-game weekend series. And then on April 9th, the Bisons will be hosting the Kansas Jayhawks, and it will be a commemorative scorecard giveaway. So make your plans to attend upcoming Lipscomb baseball activity for all of those promotions throughout the season. One other we didn't mention is every Tuesday home game will be 2 for 1 tickets and beverages at the concession stand. So our situation here is top half of the 5th inning. Evansville's leading 1-0. Biles Smith, your runner at second. Borgstrom, your runner at first. And Brent Witter, the shortstop, bats against Logan Van Schreek. And and they move behind the runner at second, and he squares to bunt, and they have him almost picked off. Large secondary lead for Bilesmith. The pitch was a strike. Witter did not get the bunt down, but Bilesmith goes scrambling back into second base. The shortstop Moore was cutting behind him. The Bisons elected not to throw it down, and it's 0-1 on Witter, who was showing bunt there. We'll see how the Bisons elect to play it. First baseman Bachelor is playing behind the runner at first right now. Shields playing even with the bag at third. Infield's a double play depth. He squares again, bunts it, and it goes foul. And now there's a count of no balls and 2 strikes on Brent Witter. So it looks like that both the first 2 pitches, Coach Wes Carroll was asking his shortstop to lay a bunt down, and now we'll see if he takes it off with a no ball 2 strike count. Again, Bachelor playing just behind the runner at first base. Shields playing a step behind the bag at third. Infield's at double play depth, and the outfield is straight away. It's a no ball 2 strike count and no outs to Brent Witter with 2 men on in the top half of the 5th inning. Evansville leading Lipscomb 1-0. And he swings through a pitch, the off-speed pitch, and he struck him out. So Witter's the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the catcher, Max Malley. Malley grounded out to second base back in the 3rd inning. And he'll bat now with 1 out and 2 men on base. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, and 1 run for Logan Van Treek thus far. An excellent start for the freshman left-hander pitching in the 5th inning here against Max Malley. He spins and throws to second, and Bilesmith is back in time. We mentioned earlier, Malley's a freshman out of Frankfort, Illinois. Still looking for his first hit of his college campaign. He's 0 for 3 so far on the season. And he swings, hits this one in the air foul. Bachelor giving chase, going over to the wall, and it's going to fall just out of reach, out into foul territory and outside the wall, so 0-1 on Malley. Again, a reminder, baseball action again tomorrow as the Bisons host Bradley with the first pitch scheduled at Dugan Field at 2:05 p.m. On Saturday, Missouri State will be at Dugan Field at 2:05 start. And on Sunday, Samford will be here for a 1:05 first pitch. So 4 straight days of baseball action planned at Ken Dugan Field. We sure hope you'll come join us to support the Bisons as they continue this homestand. Here's the 0-1. He swings and fouls it again to the right side. Bachelor's going to drift over, and this one's going to be a little further out and make the seats behind the first base dugout. That is going to make the count no balls and 2 strikes on Max Malley, the catcher. So in the inning, a bunt single by Bilesmith, and Borgstrom walked, and then Witter was down on strikes, and Max Malley now has a no ball and 2 strike count on him, and Logan Van Treek gets set to bring it to the plate. Pick off to second. They've got him picked off. He's running towards third. Shields is there. The ball hits the runner. Gets away as they had him picked off. Shields was camped out at third base, but as they flipped to third, the ball hit Bilesmith in the back, and so he's able to take third base. Borgstrom's going to advance down to second. And that's going to put runners on second and third now with 1 out and a no ball 2 strike count on Max Malley. I would think we'd get an error ruled on that play. So no balls and 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. Infield comes in, top half of the 5th inning in a 1-0 ball game. And Van Treek set to work. Swings and hits this in the air. It's on the infield. Brian Moore is calling it over at shortstop, and he's got it for the 2nd out of the inning. So a big out there for Van Treek as he induces Malley to pop out to shortstop. So now there'll be 2 outs, and we'll go back to the top of the order. And the second baseman, Craig Shepard. He's going to bat here in the top of the 5th with runners at second and third. Evansville 1, Lipscomb 0. Shepard has flied out twice today in 2 trips, so he's 0 for 2 on the day. That puts him at 2 for 15 on the young season. And he takes a pitch over the outside corner, 0-1. Three RBIs on the season for Shepard, and there are 2 more that are out there on the base paths in the person of Bilesmith at third and Borgstrom at second, but there are 2 outs in the inning. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. And he swings, hits this from the air to left center. It's in the gap. Haddleton going over, still going over, lays out, and makes a great diving catch. Terrific diving play from the Bison's outstanding junior center fielder, Maddox Houghton, as he saves 2 runs on that to record the 3rd out in the inning. There was 1 hit, and there are going to be 2 men left on base, but the Purple Aces do not score. And so in the middle of the 5th inning, our score is Evansville 1, Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's baseball on YouTube Live. Lipscomb University would like to thank John Roberts Automotive Group for their support of Bison Athletics. Both Lipscomb graduates, John Roberts Sr. and John Roberts Jr., they've been serving Middle Tennessee community since 1983. Just a short drive to Manchester, Tennessee, or just a click away at johnrobertsautogroup.com will save you plenty on one of your family's most important purchases. Please visit either John Roberts Toyota or John Roberts Nissan for all of your new, pre-owned, or automotive service needs. And another reminder, fans, that today is Lipscomb University's 2nd annual Giving Day. After the successful completion of the athletic fueling station funded by last year's gifts, we're ready to raise our Student Athlete Development Center to the next level during this year's campaign. Gifts of any size will help the cause, so please give today by going to lipscomb.edu/LippyGivingDay on your cell phone. That's lipscomb.edu/LIPPY Giving Day. You can give an unrestricted gift to athletics, or you can designate your gift to baseball, and we thank you for your support. We're going to head to the bottom half of the 5th inning here. Due up for the Bisons, the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Graves, O'Leary, and Moore. They're going to face the right-hander junior, Caleb Reinhardt. So far, Reinhardt has worked 4 innings and has not allowed a hit. He's walked 2 and struck out 4, and he faces Graves and gets a strike over the inside corner, 0-1. So Reinhardt with an outstanding start today for the Purple Aces. And again, they lead Lipscomb 1-0 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. He swings and fouls it out of play. It evens the count in a ball and a strike. Graves was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. On the season now 1 for 6 coming into this at-bat. And looks at that one high, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. That one's down low. Evens the count at 2-2. So O'Leary's on deck. Again, the Bison still looking for their first hit off of Caleb Reinhardt here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, with Evansville leading 1-0 on the Tanner Craig home run. Here's the pitch, swung on, hit in the air to center field. Kari's coming in, a few steps in, and camped under it, and he's going to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So Graves is retired, and that'll bring up the catcher, Jared O'Leary. O'Leary was a strikeout victim back in the 3rd inning. He'll bat here now with the bases empty. 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. So games the next 3 days here at Dugan Field, and then no midweek game next week. Ohio State will be in for a weekend series on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He takes a strike through there, 0-1. Bison's on this long homestand to start their season. 11 straight home games here at the friendly confines of Ken Dugan Field. 4 of them this weekend, weather permitting. That one is looks like a more of an off-speed pitch to stay low. A ball and a strike to Jarrett O'Leary, the Bison's catcher. Moore, the shortstop, waits on deck. Swings and hits this one off the thumbs. It was jamming him inside. It'll go out of play, and he's going to take the count to a ball and 2 strikes on O'Leary. And he swings and hits this one foul. Count will remain at a ball and 2 strikes. So Reinhardt making his very first, second appearance on the season, his first year pitching, as he came to Evansville from Rend Lake community college. He was 3-6 with a 4.72 ERA and had 60 strikeouts last year. But this young man's had an outstanding start here today against Lipscomb. Had a 1-2 pitch, swung on and fouled again. It's a ball and 2 strikes. So first season in Evansville for Caleb Reinhardt. He did have one appearance over the weekend in relief, and this is his first start, and he has certainly made the most of it thus far today. And that one just off the plate, and leaving the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jared O'Leary. Again, Evansville lost 3 games to Tennessee Tech over the weekend, but all tight ball games. 5-3 on Friday, 7-6 Saturday, and 11-10 on Sunday. That's a breaking ball that stays low, and O'Leary's worked himself back to a full count after being in the hole 0-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes on Jared O'Leary. Here comes the payoff. Swung on, hit deep in the air to left field. Deep down the line, and it's off the wall. Going to be extra bases for O'Leary. He's going to round first. Schallenberger gives it chase. He's still picking it up, and O'Leary is going to cruise into second base with a double. So Jared O'Leary breaks up the no-hitter and has the first Bison's hit on the day. He's going to stand at second base for Brian Moore, who flew out to right field back in the 3rd inning. Bats now with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. Now Moore, 5 for 13 on the season already with 6 RBIs and a chance to pick up another one here. With O'Leary running at second. Outfield's deep and left again. The wind's sort of shifting now, blowing out straight out center field, about 10 or 11 miles an hour. And that one is going to catch the lower part of the plate for a strike. 0-1 to Brian Moore. Again, Moore with a home run in the initial activity of the season last Friday. And he is the current reigning Atlantic Sun Conference Player of the Week for his outstanding start throughout the weekend, both offensively and defensively. He looks at another one that's in there for a strike, and he's down 0-2. Again, Brian had 5 hits and 12 at-bats over the weekend and had 6 RBIs and a couple of outstanding defensive plays. So the Atlantic Sun Conference said, you're the player of the week for this week, the first week of the 2020 spring season. No balls, 2 strikes. And he swings and fouls this one back. The count will remain 0-2. That was an 86-mile-an-hour fastball. We've seen Reinhardt work anywhere between 86 and 88 with his fastball. And a breaking pitch somewhere in the 68 to 72-mile-an-hour vicinity. Had good command of both pitches, and that has certainly kept the Bison's hitters off guard here today. Comes the 0-2, swung on and fouled back again. The count remained 0-2. So our line score, Evansville 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. The Bison's no runs on 1 hit and 1 error. We're playing in the bottom half of the 5th inning, and the score is 1-0, Evansville leading Lipscomb. Brian Moore has a no ball, 2 strike count. Jared O'Leary is running at second base. David Graves flew out to start the inning, and then O'Leary hit a ball deep in the air to left field. It went off the wall, and he's at second with a double. And that one bounces up there, so a ball and 2 strikes. It's 330 down the foul lines here at Ken Dugan Field. 375 to the power alleys and 400 to straightaway center field. We mentioned that wind blowing out to center field to right center field today. It's coming out of the north somewhere between 10 and 11 miles an hour. 38 degrees at game time with the wind chill down around 30 degrees. So we've got a very bundled up crowd today watching college baseball action. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and he swings through a breaking ball. Going to have to make a throw to first to retire him, but O'Leary's going to hold at second base, and that's the second out of the inning as Moore goes down on a strikeout. So we'll go back to the top of the order, and Bison's leadoff hitter Haddon Adams. He popped out to the second baseman Shepard in the first inning and then was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. He's going to bat with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. And they're going to throw behind him, and just back in there as second baseman Shepard cut over on the daylight play, and O'Leary was able to just get back with a head-first slide. So nice pick move on the part of the Aces there. Adams batting .273 on the season, 3 hits and 11 at bats rather. Walked a couple of times and stolen a couple of bases for the Bison's leadoff hitter, senior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And he watches a breaking ball stay down low, nothing in one. Or 1 ball, no strikes, correction. So 1 ball, no strikes. O'Leary running at second base. Takes it over the inside corner, a ball and a strike. That was a well-located pitch there just over the inside corner, and Adams takes it to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Caleb Reinhardt again on the mound for Evansville. He's surrendered only 1 hit so far, and that's in this inning, the double by Jared O'Leary, who's standing at second base. So an outstanding start for the junior. Swung on, hit over the shortstop. Witter. They're going to wave O'Leary around third base. Here he comes, and he's going to tie the game up with the Bison's first run of the day. RBI single for Haddon Adams. So 2 hits on the inning now, and the game is tied at 1 each, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Maddox Houghton. Houghton was walked and stole a base in the first inning, and then walked again in the third inning. So officially 0 for 0 on the day, and he'll bat with 2 outs and a man on first base, and we're tied 1-1, Lipscomb and Evansville. Adams with that extended lead, and he takes a fastball for strike 1. So again, Houghton batting .400 on the season. Off to a great start, the junior center fielder for the Bisons. They're going to chase Adams back. Not let him get a chance to get that extended lead that he likes to do. And they're going to send him back 1 more time. Again, Adams 2 for 2 on stolen bases on the season. And he stole 13 out of 14 bags last year, so they know he's a threat to run. He starts with a fairly small lead, and then he'll extend it later in the hole. And he squares the bunt. Reinhardt's going to come off the mound. He and the catcher, O'Malley, are going to watch it go foul. So clearly with 2 outs, Houghton in a base hit bunt situation there, but he saw the third baseman Borgstrom playing deep, and he tried to drop that one in front of him. But it rolled foul, and he'll be down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Houghton with good speed. If that one had stayed fair, I don't think they would have had a chance to make a play on him. Again, the third baseman Borgstrom deep and behind the bag, as you can see at third base. So that's some open ground there, and Houghton saw that and recognized it. A young man that can handle the bat well. Again, coming off an outstanding sophomore campaign where he batted .342 and had 34 RBIs, had a .400 on-base percentage, had a .482 slugging percentage, 4 home runs. The 0-2 swung on, hit in the air. It's going to go to shallow right field. Bilesmith's going to come in. He's going to camp out under it, and he's going to make the play for the 3rd out in the inning. But the Bisons do draw even, courtesy of 2 base hits. They score a run. They do strand 1 man on base, and we've played 5 complete innings, and your score, Lipscomb 1, Evansville 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Lipscomb University would like to thank our valuable partners for supporting Lipscomb Athletics: Hampton Inn of Brentwood, Elite Sports Medicine, Pan Coast Benefits, Coca-Cola, and the Hyatt Place Brentwood. We'll be back after this short break. We start the top half of the 6th inning. Your new score, Lipscomb 1, Evansville 1, and Indiana Stanley, the designated hitter, will stand in against Logan Van Treek. Van Treek's gone all the way for the Bisons thus far. And he swings and hits this one in the air to right center field. Houghton going back. Watson going back. Houghton going back. Looks up. Catches it just short of the warning track in right center field. So a long run and another nice grab by Maddox Houghton to retire Indiana Stanley. That'll bring up the first baseman, Tanner Craig. And this young man is one that you don't want to pitch to with anybody on base. You want to see those bases empty. He flew out to deep center field in the first inning and then hit a long home run to dead center field in the fourth inning rather. And we mentioned that's his 5th home run out of the first 4 games of the season. So phenomenal start to this young man's season. And that one's going to stay outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Tanner Craig. Now batting .692 on the season. 8 RBIs and the 4 home runs. That one stays way outside. It's going to be 3 balls and no strikes. So Van Treek working very carefully to the very dangerous Tanner Craig. Craig, a 6', 230-pound junior out of Scottsburg, Indiana. And the 3-0 is in there for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Five home runs on the season in the first 4 games. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. That one's going to bounce in there, and so he's going to draw a base on balls. So Van Treek pitching very carefully to Craig with 1 out and the base is empty, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Schallenberger. So 1 out and a base runner on first base, and Schallenberger's batting. The infield's at double play depth, and that one's off the plate for ball 1. Van Treek's gone all the way. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So an outstanding start for the freshman left-hander in his first start of the season, or start of his college career. He's at 74 pitches currently. A little bit of activity in the Bison's bullpen. That's hit in the air to center field. Houghton's going to retreat. Now he's going to go to his left. Wynn's taking it out, but he's camped under it. And he has it for the 2nd out of the inning. So Schallenberger flies out to center field, and that's going to bring up the center fielder, Evan Kari. He's going to hit with 2 outs and a runner on first base. Your score, Lipscomb 1, Evansville 1. Top half of the 6th inning. We're moving right along. Hour and 26 minutes so far in this ball game. A cold, blustery day, and both of these teams taking care of their business. The pitchers working quickly, and not a lot of offensive action, and that one's going to stay down low for ball 1. Kari's 0 for 2 on the day, now 3 for 15 on the season. There's 1 RBI on the season. It's a 1 ball, no strike count. Swung through the fastball, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. So a reminder, we'll be back here tomorrow for baseball action between the Bisons and Bradley. The first pitch scheduled for 2:05 p.m. Saturday, the Bisons host Missouri State at 2:05 p.m. And then Sunday, Samford is here. First pitch at 1:05 p.m. Here's the 1-1. And it's over the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes. So Van Treek gets ahead of Kare. Tanner is your runner at first base. Or correction, Tanner Craig is the runner at first base. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Purple Aces. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Bisons. Swung on and tapped foul. The count's going to remain a ball and 2 strikes to Evan Kare. He's a 6'3", 175-pound redshirt sophomore from right there in Evansville. Played at Olney Central. Here comes the 1-2, and he gets a call, 3rd strike. So nothing doing for the Purple Aces in the top half of the 6th inning as they do strand 1 base runner. And we've played 5 1/2, and your score, Lipscomb 1, Evansville 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The Bisons are proud to partner with Wayne Stevens, and First Bank is the official mortgage lender of Lipscomb Athletics. Wayne has been a friend of Lipscomb for over 40 years and a mortgage lender for 23 years. Based out of First Bank's Franklin branch, Wayne is the person to visit whether you're considering building or buying a house or looking to refinance. Call Wayne Stevens and First Bank at 615-814-3912 or visit them on the web at fbmortgageloans.com. We'll be back after this short break.